All right, and we're live. Hey everyone, it's Nikki and Jim, and we are keeping it real. How you doing today, Jim?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to the subject today. And
Me too. And you know
yeah,
something really cool that I didn't tell you? I
what?
love, I love these last minute zingers, right? Not
Yeah.
this Friday, but next Friday, I saw we're supposed to hit 80 degrees. So guess what?
Wow.
It's a great day to go do landscaping, right?
Amazing. Yeah. Now we can get our outdoor projects together, which is what we're covering today.
Exactly. So before we get any further into the subject, we're going to go ahead and bring in Carrie with Fairway. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing
Hello.
today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fabulous. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on?
Well, all right. I don't know if everybody's ready for this, but so James Bullard, who is the president of the St. Louis um, Fed, I can't think of what I wanted to say there for a second. He had some kind of news that has affected the market. He's wanting the Fed to raise the interest rate another 75 basis points, with the first one hitting us 25 basis points on May 1st. So it kind of made the market a little bit rocky. He doesn't believe we're in a recession, even though everybody else is seeing signs that it's pointing to the fact that we are in a recession. At first, he was wanting the federal interest rate to be up to 7%, but he's come back down to about 5.75%, which is good for us. It's good news for people in the mortgage industry and for those that are out shopping for homes. So interest rates did go up this week from 6.3% to 6.43%. So housing market slowed down a little bit because of those rates increasing.
Okay, but still not bad. I mean, it's not terrible, right?
It's not. And, they actually did a poll and they showed that homeowners had 40% more net worth than a renter. So it's never a bad thing to own a home.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing. Today I was listening to a report on TV, and it was just saying, it was talking about new house building and all of that. And they said at the end, even with high interest rates. And I was kind of going, the media, they're just
They're so bad.
put
They're
out
so
whatever they
bad.
want. We are still below the 50-year average or the 30-year average on
yes.
interest rates.
Most definitely. And it's just a scare. We've talked about this before. People were so used to those nice low rates in the threes. We're just kind of right in the middle of where rates usually are. So
Yeah. I
don't sweat it.
I don't think they're ever going to go down that low again. I mean, that was kind of a historic low that I don't think
I
we're going to see
agree.
it again. So
It was.
Totally.
If we get back in the fives, that's really going to be the sweet spot, and where they're predicting that we're going to be the end of this quarter or beginning of next quarter.
perfect. So get out there and go shopping, right? And get your house on the market. So I'm going to go ahead and move us on. And so, because we do have a special guest today that I'm really excited to announce. But last week, Jim, what did we talk about? Because we were working on part of our house last week. We're getting ready to put on the market. And what did we work on last week? Give us a recap.
Yeah. So last week we talked about staging. We talked about, and really for the last couple of weeks, we talked about getting the inside of your home ready. So we had a stager come on, which was really interesting. And but today we're going to move outside. And
And this is
so
the huge part, right? Because that's the first thing they see when they go to your house after they look at the pictures online, of course. But that's the first thing that's seeing them, right?
exactly. The first impression, no matter if it's a business, I mean, you walk by a business and you're going to go to a restaurant and it just looks horrible on the outside. You don't want to go on the inside. First impressions are a really big deal. And so that's really what we're talking about today, of curb appeal and how to make your house really sparkle, on the outside. So when people come by, it's desirable.
Absolutely. And so some of the big things, we talked about, on the outside. Even with the stager last week is, like the door is like the first thing you're going to come in contact with. If you've got sticky fingerprints and stuff like that, people aren't going to want to really, it's going to be like the first impression that's not clean, right? So, and having it well painted is going to be, and inviting is going to be a huge thing with the front door. And then other things like the roof, your windows, making sure the outside doesn't have peeling paint, because we talked about, a little bit about kind of different loans and stuff in the past, and that could be a big indicator about who can buy your house and not, if it has peeling paint. Um, So what are any other things I'm not putting out there?
I think those definitely decks, of some outdoor furniture or a patio outdoor furniture that really makes it look inviting. I don't think people really, Nikki, I and Carrie, I really don't think people realize, in the Northwest, so many people say, "Oh, we only have a month of summer." That's really not true.
No, people really use patios.
We really get about 5 months of you can still go outside and have a nice time. Like Nikki said, was it April? And she was talking about maybe an 80-degree day. So outside can really be a great thing, for your house. So decks, patios, those types of things, and then we'll get
repair. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know for us, we enjoy our deck all year round for the most part because we have this really cool fire pit that's propane heated instead of, so you don't smell like a campfire. And then we also have one of those big heating lamps out there, so you can utilize it. You just have to be able to stay warm.
And that gives people ideas of what this could be like for them, because really you're trying to give them, a picture of what it could be for them. And so those kinds of things can be really helpful.
All right. And so we also have our expert today on here who's going to come in and tell us what else can we do. I'm really excited to announce him because he's not only my son, but he's also the owner of a Greater Approach Landscape, and that's Tiernann Shelton. Hi, Tiernann. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
So Tiernann has been doing landscaping for about 3 years now. He's actually owns his own company. He looks young because he is young, but he started actually with his older brothers who had their own landscaping companies back when he was 16 years old. And then he left for college for his first year and COVID shut it down. And so he came back and started a landscaping company and has been doing that for the last 3 years. So Tiernann, welcome again. It's good to have you. So we're talking about things that homeowners can do if they're putting their home on the market. So what are some suggestions you could give? I mean, because like we were saying, it's one of the most important things is when you drive up, you're going to see the front of the house. And that's the first indication, that the owners kept really good repair of their home too. Because if the yard's all beat up and stuff, it's going to look bad. So what kind of things could you suggest to homeowners that would help? And a lot of the stuff is really inexpensive compared to a new roof or, putting in new windows and that kind of stuff. So even just doing like the smaller part of it, the landscaping, which could be big or small, don't get me wrong, but what kind of things would you suggest?
Well, one of the first things I notice when I, see a house is the grass. I'm a big grass guy, so I like green grass, and right now is the perfect time to do that. Just revamping, detaching, adding topsoil, seeding. That's always, I would say, like most important in my opinion. You could always bark your flower beds just to make it look fresher. Planting flowers, something bright, that's always good. Even cleaning your roofs, that doesn't really fall necessarily the landscaping category, but just removing the moss off your shingles is big. It's even just the moss on the shingles in general is an eyesore. So just removing that, it's a big one. There's a lot we can go over, but
pressure washing, would that be a really good thing to do out like to your sidewalks and stuff?
Absolutely. Remove the moss, get rid of the dirt off the driveway. Clean slate, pretty much.
Okay, perfect. And then what about like planning stuff? Does that help? I mean, I know, like a lot of times people like will have a white door, a brown door, or a black door, or something kind of really basic, and they'll change that color real quick to like a bright red or a blue even, just to kind of get some more color in there. What about some landscaping stuff you could recommend to add some pops of color?
Like what I said, just planting flowers, along flower beds, putting in that fresh bark and adding in some just flowers, especially during the springtime. Again, just having that there, it'll make it pop more, as you're, like what Jim was saying, that's one of the first things you see is the outside. And so just by having those bright colors, it's always big plus. Green grass. So.
Okay.
So Jim, this is your home, right?
Yeah. So
And in that first photo, was that all blackberry bushes?
yeah, if you can go back to that. So to the right there, that was at the height about 8 feet of blackberry bushes. And
Yeah,
so
it was.
there was a fence.
Tiernan's like, yep, remember it well.
And so the reason I put these here is because Tiernann, I had hired Tiernann's company to come out. And so he and his workers came out and they took all of those out. And believe me, that was a huge job. There was also trees that had fallen, so really old trees that they had to cut up. And so the next picture of where you're showing that, so to the right, in that big area there, this was in there. This is what you were looking at.
Wow.
So we realized that after they took all those out, the people before us had planted rhodies and azaleas and wisteria and all kinds of things in there. And Tiernann's company took all of that out there and did just a beautiful job. And believe me, that was tough work. So I'm glad we had them on. I'm glad we could show this because it really kind of shows what they can do. Beautiful
Right.
job.
So it's really,
Thank you.
so what you're saying is so it's really cutting, it's really cutting back a lot of the stuff to see the house, right? Because that's what's really
Yeah.
important. You're trying to sell the house, but you also want to give it some flair and some style to make sure that it's going to really pop and be welcoming and inviting.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
absolutely.
So trim those bushes back. And so
Yeah.
this would even work, like, I mean, even if you're not selling your home, but these are some good tips for homeowners like coming up into the spring though, right? As well, because I mean, I know I just went out there and spent about 2 days out there just pulling dead branches off that fallen during the winter and that had been out there a while and stuff, but pulling all that stuff out, and it just cleaned it up a whole bunch and did stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
love the colors in this picture. It does make it pop.
Yeah, this you could not see any of this, but it was all below underneath the blackberries.
Wow.
So
So it's getting
Oh,
your
yeah.
lawn in shape, right? Tiernann is what I'm understanding. Getting your lawn in shape. It's
Yeah.
removing weeds, right?
Yeah, weeds, blackberries, any overgrowth is, that's always good to take out. And then just, shaping it up, really. Shaping up your brush, your shrubbery, your hedges, even, tree pruning. It's always just a good look.
Right.
So Tiernann, I have a question for you. How do you keep those blackberry bushes away? I've tried.
That's a question with like a lot of people. Here in the Northwest, we know blackberries. I mean, it's crazy sorry, you get a little bit off topic, but I met somebody from Texas, and he was talking to me, and he was saying like, oh yeah, having blackberries, you have to plant it, there, and you actually have to, make it work. But here, it's like, oh man, there's just too much. You can't get rid of it. So,
Yep.
Pretty much, the main thing that you can do to keep it organic is to rototill out all the roots and just pull it separately, and then, a lot of people go, and they chop it down and they can spray it as well. But we don't have an herbicide license as of yet, so unfortunately, I can't do that. It has been out.
I see a job for you in your future.
yeah.
Good to know. You know my number.
I do.
Okay. So mainly it's just cleaning it up, getting rid of debris, and really just what about bark and stuff? I mean, I know that, creating like kind of a space to kind of take you around to the property, right? Because I know like when we moved in our house, there's kind of a walkway almost, or kind of it's like take you out to the backyard kind of thing or something. It's not just stopping. It's kind of like there's a path to kind of go through the property. How important do you think is that?
Oh, I mean, it's very important. Just exactly like what Jim was saying. It's the curb appeal. It's what really makes it pop, in my opinion. Green grass and fresh bark is always, it's like diversity, and that's usually what I get called up for if I'm, fixing up a home to get it on the market. And so we would usually just bark and get the grass ready to go. But yeah, so like what usually what people have is, the beds along their house and stuff like that. And so, you plant and put some bright plants in there, and some nice bright bark, and usually does the trick.
Perfect.
Tiernann, does like, can you turn like just an ordinary looking surrounding of a house into kind of a walkway, maybe gravel or pavers or something like that? Do you guys do those?
Absolutely, yeah. Like even some stepping stones, really basic. Usually I do get pretty basic jobs for the market. It's nothing's ever too specialized with it, but yeah, like just stuff like that. Small pavers. Exactly. So.
Okay. Hey, Tiernann, I have one more question for you too, and then I'm done my questions. So if anyone else has anyone after this one, let me know. But so I know, with COVID and stuff like that, everybody was going before COVID. I should say everybody's looking at tiny houses and trying to get really small spaces, which was really cool. I mean, that's kind of where everything was going. And then COVID happened, and everybody was stuck in house with a bunch of people, and they needed space. They needed to do that. And then, we, like Clary was saying, she uses her outdoor space. And I know since COVID, we've really expanded our outdoor space too, and are really trying to, make those areas more inviting and to be more usable. So when you're trying to work on a house that, for instance, is going on the market with those outdoor spaces, or even like, maybe Jim was saying, maybe you have like a patch of grass and it's really not being used. Can you make an outdoor area where it's, maybe like a fire pit kind of area or something that would really, that property next door pop to make it, more usable?
Oh, totally. And that goes along with, just clearing things out, clearing out the debris. And especially if, the realtor, I think that would be you guys that are, asking for those kinds of things, correct?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's like, if you have an empty space and you've got a spot that kind of, I'm looking at this picture over here, Jim's yard. I'm like, you could almost put like I don't know what's on this side of it, Jim, but you could put like like a little bench area and stuff like that. And maybe put some pavers down to make it kind of a designated like fire pit area, for instance, So I was just wondering if you're getting calls in to do more stuff like that because of people moving outside more and spending more time outside.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. It just from them being around their house, it just gives them the time to really notice what they have, and that kind of opens up the creativity for everybody, and it kind of allows me to do what I'd like to do, and it allows them to get their vision, going, and yeah. And it's always really nice being able to work with the client and really making a vision happen. I would say that's probably my favorite part of the job.
Okay, perfect.
Nice. Hey, I have a question just for Tiernann. Tiernann, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but let's say, and it's kind of a hypothetical, but let's say somebody, they're just not, their yard isn't very special. It's not like a super manicured yard, but you could come in and you could edge it and you maybe fresh bark or, and let's say, could you really say in a day, could you make it really be presentable, and how much would that cost? I know that's really hypothetical, but
yeah, so it really depends on the square footage of what we're working with.
I gotcha.
But if it were to take us a full day, it's usually between 720 and 1,000, including a haul away, and that's just the basics, just getting the weeds out of the beds, mowing the grass, edging, trimming.
Okay.
Yeah, just raking up all the debris, any overgrowth, just that kind of stuff.
But for $750, $1,000, that's well worth it. I mean, to really, you drive by that house and it looks clean. It looks manicured.
Yes, absolutely, and it's one of our favorite kinds of jobs because it's just purely landscaping, and so it's just it's what we do. But yeah, we get those done fairly quick.
Nice.
Perfect. So Tiernann, if someone wants to hire you, they can go to Facebook. I know you can take orders off Facebook, right, for extra help, or you can always reach out to him at his phone number that's listed on here. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Actually, I did have something I did want to show real quick.
Okay. Go for it.
So
hold on.
I'm at a job right now. So I don't know if I can flip this camera or not.
I'm trying to hold on.
So.
I can.
Nope. Okay. Can't flip it. So anyways, over here, we put up these terrace beds because they're wanting to plant for the spring. And we also, since we kind of messed up the, all the dirt and everything, it was a mudslide over here. We're actually seeding it right now. So you got Ryan over here doing his thing. And then same with over back here as well. I don't know how well you guys can see this. So it's like over here, we put down topsoil. We're going to be putting down seed fertilizer. And so it should start popping up in the springtime, or sorry, in like right around May. So 2 weeks from now. Some top bed here. Things are ready this spring. We did this patio.
Oh, nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a fun one too.
Very
I don't know how
nice.
well you guys can really see it, but
Yeah, nice.
anyway.
Thanks.
Thank you. So you can do pavers, patios. You can do the edging, the landscaping, getting everything ready, planting flowers, planting everything, and cutting everything back. Did I pretty much cover everything?
Just about. Yeah, you can check the Facebook for more.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Tiernann, thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you always for coming on. We definitely appreciate your insights and your inputs. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you next week on Keeping It Real with Niki and Jim. And don't forget to like our pages because that always helps our businesses. And you can always reach out, and we're always happy to help. Okay, thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.